What's up, everyone? Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, thank you for joining me. Please hit that subscribe button and that notification button for more movie review updates, independent short films. If you're into that, I make independent short films when I can. Hopefully I'll continue to be able to make independent short films, and I have some that I've already done, so please check those out if you like independent short films. And I'm also thinking about doing other things with the channel. I'm not sure yet. I have been doing some shorts I've been uploading. You can check that out. A little bit of what I do as well when it comes to karaoke or anything film related, some pieces of clips. But yeah, check that out. It means a lot. Also, to those that have been watching my YouTube channel from the jump, from the get-go, thank you for always checking out my channel and supporting. It means a lot. Please leave comments. I always get back to anyone who gets into my comments and wants to have a conversation. Keep it professional. Let's see, if you do agree with anything that I've said, with movie reviews. Do you like any of my short films? Is there anything that you want to give a critique on? Anything that you want to give praise on? Let me know. I will get back to you. And yeah, let's get straight to it. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. What can I say? It is an amazing film. I loved Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Originally, Into the Spider-Verse was my favorite Spider-Man film, but Across the Spider-Verse just took that and elevated it to me. I can't wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse. That is the third film in the Miles Morales Spider-Man trilogy, basically the Spider-Verse trilogy. And yeah, I've seen it already a few times, to be honest. There's a couple of TikTokers. I saw it in the movie theaters for the first time, but there's been a couple of TikTokers that have actually been posting the entire movie in great condition. And I will say I've been watching it on TikTok here and there as well. So I've seen it a few times already, but I did pay for my ticket for the first time. But wow, Across the Spider-Verse, apparently there were some things that they did that took 2 to 3 years to get done. 4 years at that. Spider-Punk, his design, apparently that was 2 to 3 years to get done. So to be able to do something like the Spider-Punk design into the film, on top of everything else that had to be done, I just feel like it was a lot of work to create this film. Apparently, I don't know how they did. I mean, I know there's a whole team that they're just creating and working on this thing, but 2 to 3 years to get a specific animation and whatnot for characters, and it's each character it's its own thing, different types of styles based on the universes, and I'm just like, what? It's ridiculous. I think I heard that Haley Steinfeld. Did I say it? Haley Gwen's Spider-Gwen. Sorry, I'm jacking her last name up. Haley. Basically, I don't know if it's true, but I heard that she took 4 years to do her lines. I don't know how true that is, and maybe because she's been busy and back and forth with things. But if that was true, to get it done in 4 years, that's ridiculous. But that just goes to show the work that's put in to such a project. If it's true, I mean, 4 years, I think that's a little too weird, but that's what I heard. But in general, the Spider-Punk design, apparently it took 2 to 3 years. That I saw on YouTube from the actual, I believe, the creators or so from that was involved with Across the Spider-Verse. But I mean, you can tell a lot of work was put into this film, and just the way it's done, it's a beautiful piece. And if you thought it was beautiful and Into the Spider-Verse, it's just even more beautiful into this film, Across the Spider-Verse, with just the art form. The story had emotional beats, and I was just really invested. The film starts off with Spider-Gwen, and it's like, is this a Spider-Gwen story or a Miles Morales story? But you're involved because you want to know more about her before it even cuts into Spider-Man Miles Morales' story again, and how he meets her again, and what the whole story is about. The villain is the Spot, who happened to be part of who was involved in the collider explosion that happened Into the Spider-Verse, and he gets caught up in it and is now this multiversal being. His whole body is changed, and he can traverse the different universes. And he just wants revenge on Spider-Man because apparently his life was forever changed due to Miles Morales and him stopping the collider and causing the explosion. And now he just wants revenge. And, it's a beautiful film. If you haven't seen it yet, what are you waiting for? I mean, you have Spider-Man 2099, who's apparently trying to stop all these events that have been interrupted that's supposed to happen apparently, and he's just been taking it upon himself to kind of correct these events in the universes so that it doesn't destroy the Spider-Verse in general. And over time, having done that, it seems to have hardened him, especially when he tried to get, I guess I believe his family died in his universe, his wife and kid, and he found another universe, and that version of him died, so he tried to, go into that universe and just be a part of that universe with that family, because he's like, in my universe, this was my family. But doing that, because he didn't belong there, it interrupted the flow of events for that universe and caused, I forget what they called it. I don't want to say an incursion, because that would be like a collision of two universes, but it caused something along the lines that destroyed that particular universe, I believe. And he's just been ever, hardened ever so. And it's kind of, basically, if you think about it, well, not now that I'm thinking about it, he did what Kingpin wanted to do, which was the reason of why he created that collider to go into another universe and bring another universe family members, his wife and daughter, I believe, to him. And now that I'm thinking about it, that's what Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, was doing, but not in a way where it was malicious or like without care to destroying his universe. He's more technologically advanced and has the ability to travel without causing an issue, but of course it still caused an issue while he was there, despite the process of being able to traverse the multiverse, which wasn't going to cause an issue. The start of it, that's in the that was the problem for Into the Spider-Verse, that if you turn this thing on, you're gonna create something crazy. And he's able to travel with this gadget, but him being there in general still messed up canon events. Apparently, I don't know if for him canon events need to happen, like Uncle Ben dying for Peter Parker and whatnot. But I don't know if how true that is. These canon events, I feel like Beyond the Spider-Verse might show that he may be wrong, because he's real, adamant on stopping Miles Morales, who shouldn't have gone to the Spider-Verse, but he wants to know what's good with Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen, that he finds out that she was just there for the spot, and she missed opportunities to catch him, and Miles is like, he just jumps into the portal after her without her knowing, and she's going to she meets up with Spider-Man India and Mumbai. It's like an India version of Manhattan, and he tries to help her fight the Spot, kind of intervenes. She could have caught him maybe, and because he says, well, I'm here to help you, and she gets punched out, and the Spot leaves, and they're trying to chase him. And it just causes a whole event that Miguel is like, you shouldn't be here, first of all. Like, Gwen Stacy tells him, you're not supposed to be here. But Miguel was like, Miguel was like, you can't be here, Miles. And he tries to tell him what's supposed to happen. Your pops is supposed to die, and you can't stop it. And Miles is like, no, I want to stop it. And Miguel's just so adamant, like, you can't stop it, and tries to, hold him there. And Miles breaks out from this red crystallized thing, to where all these spider people are chasing him. If you've seen the trailer, they're all trying to stop him from stopping a canon event, because it's meant to happen, it's supposed to happen, and if it doesn't happen, he's gonna ruin his universe, and then they have to try to fix it from getting destroyed, because this whole Spider-Verse is in a way connected, I believe. So that's why they really want to stop it, because if one universe gets destroyed and it doesn't affect your universe, it's like, is that really your problem? But Miguel's really trying to make sure that everything's intact, and that's his thing. And there was one other thing that I wanted to mention. I know the Spot is trying to go to different universes to get more power with these colliders that are in these universes. He tries to get more power to be able to fight Spider-Man, and he gets comfortable with his power, his ability of traveling multiverses. And for Miles, he's also told from Miguel that you are meant to be Spider-Man. That spider that bit you, Spider 42, was actually meant to be from that universe, Earth 42, that Miles Morales was supposed to get bit. But I believe the Spot or something with the Collider event, they put it into Miles Morales, our Miles Morales' universe, and that's why he got bit. And Miguel was like, you're an anomaly. you shouldn't even, you wasn't supposed to have this. But now I'm thinking, is Miguel wrong? Because if he was an anomaly and he wasn't supposed to get bit, events for him was supposed to be different in general. And the Spider-Man that was his Spider-Man, Miles Morales, our Miles Morales, when Spider-Man dies in Into the Spider-Verse, that was the Spider-Man for his universe, and he dies by Kingpin. Nothing happened. Nothing was going on with that universe to this point to where it was going to destroy itself or get destroyed, and that Miguel had to come in to try to stop it from getting destroyed. So I don't know if he's correct in thinking that you wasn't supposed to get bit, because he wasn't supposed to get bit and all this has been happening. Why isn't the universe in itself, I forgot what they called it, it was like a pocket that was opened up, a hole, like the destruction of the universe. So I guess it was gonna like implode or something, but that hasn't happened in our Miles' universe. So I don't know if we're going to see that Miguel was wrong in what he thinks about canon events, or just maybe the way it was done for this Miles, our Miles, is that's the way it was supposed to happen, despite it being the spider from one universe coming into our universe. Was to say that's still not part of a canon event, even though it's not a universe within itself that has its own events. But who's to say other universes can't collide that way for a canon event to be flowing and not causing any issues? Because apparently the spider that was in Earth 42 that didn't bite that Miles Morales, that Earth is intact and there hasn't been any issues. So I feel like that it was meant to be, and Miguel just, based off of his experience and what he thinks, it's like he's just so like intent on correcting things and stopping Miles, because he says you're an anomaly, and that's probably what he means, like, because your Earth isn't destroyed, you're an anomaly in this whole situation. But what about the other Miles who happens to be, if you've seen the ending, he turns to the Prowler, which was his uncle, our Miles Morales. His uncle was the Prowler. So now that Miles Morales, instead of becoming Spider-Man, he becomes the Prowler, and his uncle is alive, but his father is dead. But I'm assuming that this Miles Morales is not actually a bad guy. They make him seem like he's going to be bad Miles, but he might be like the Punisher, an anti-hero. Just that instead of being Spider-Man, he's the Prowler and a lot more serious. His father did die, so maybe he's stopping crime in his own way and in a more serious manner, and a serious take, and that he's not Spider-Man. It's just that he's the Prowler, and he's just more of a Punisher type of anti-hero. So that's what I think is going on there. I'm not sure, but I feel like that's what it is. Like they run into each other, both Miles, and he's our Miles he's chained up. They knocked him out. His uncle took him to the roof because he thought it was his Miles, but he knew something was off. And then that Miles, the Prowler, was around, and sucker punches him, knocks him out, and they tie him up. And I guess they're just trying to figure out like what the heck is going on. But he does realize that our Miles, because he asks him, is your father alive? And our Miles says, yeah. And it's like, okay, so what's going to go on there? Is there going to be some type of, I'm going to take your life, or I'm going to bring your father to our world, which wouldn't make sense, and it wouldn't even happen easily. I guess he just wants to figure out, like, you're me. Do we have the same life? You have the same life as me in the other universe. So I felt like maybe he should have been a little bit more like, what the heck? What is this? That Miles from Earth 42. I felt like he should have been more surprised, but of course, I guess he's just hardened, and he's just like, I don't care. I'm not surprised with what's going on. But I thought it was a little weird that him and his uncle, they weren't as shocked to see that there's another Miles Morales. But I guess that was done to showcase how serious this new Miles from Earth 42 is, and how different he is from our Miles. But yeah, I mean, you have a lot of Spider-Man characters that were introduced from different universes. You got Lego Spider-Man, which apparently that Lego scene was done by a 14-year-old. Kudos to you, congratulations. That was awesome, to be able to have a 14-year-old do this scene. and incorporated into the movie. I thought that's awesome. I feel like a lot of the film itself allowed for other creators to be a part of it, which it did. You had Childish Gambino, Danny Glover, who plays Miles' uncle, a live action version. He's dressed up in the Prowler outfit. And he's trapped in the universe of the Spider Verse. I guess something went wrong, and they captured these villains or whoever, that if something was not right, they captured them in this crystal, and then they'll eventually send them home. So he was there in live action. You had a lot of scenes that were shown from the web of the Spider-Verse, from the Tobey films, the Andrew Garfield, to show how connected they are. And I just thought that was just dope, and it really made you feel like, yeah, this Spider-Verse is really big. Aside from the multiverse that we're getting in the MCU, because Sony and the MCU is separate, and the only thing that's keeping them together really is Spider-Man. But if you look at the MCU version of the multiverse, you can see that aside from the multiverse of the whole world and other characters, in all these worlds, the Spider-Verse is its own thing amongst this universe that is also just as important, I guess. But yeah, the Spider-Verse is a thing, and I don't know if, let's say in the comics, if other characters have their own verse of just them, but I know the Spider-Verse is a thing in itself, aside from just the multiverse in general. And yeah, this Beyond the Spider-Verse, I wonder what that means. The title Beyond the Spider-Verse. So is it, the Spider-Verse not exactly what we think based off of what Miguel has said and is assuming? Is it going to take the animated form and really bring us into live action territory, into that universe? So that's what they need by Beyond, and even though it's still contained within the Spider-Verse, but are they going to bring us now more into the human side of things, like real world side of things? And I don't know, I'm really excited to see what Beyond the Spider-Verse means. I mean, I think it follows Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, Beyond the Spider-Verse. I think it's just a fitting title, and I'm just excited to see where it goes from there. But a lot of the story beats, the emotion, the story of Gwen Stacy and her father, and then Miles Morales, and his story and his family, and being Spider-Man, but also being a student, and just and then you have the whole the Spider-Verse of all these other characters and their involvement within the Spider-Verse. And it sounds like a lot, and hopefully I made a lot of sense, or whatever it is that I was saying just now about the whole Spider-Verse and whatnot. But I really liked it, and if you haven't seen it, you have to see it if you're a Spider-Man fan. And just in general, just movies and just art in general, you have to watch it. I thought it was dope, and it's definitely I would say my favorite movie of the year so far. To be honest, I think the last couple of films that I've seen were Marvel based, and you have Scream 7. No, Scream 7 wasn't this year. I feel like it was this year. I feel like a lot of the movies that I've seen recently, I've seen a lot of movie reactions. But anyways, a lot of the movies that I've seen so far this year, yeah, Guardians and whatnot. But I would say Across the Spider-Verse, if you haven't seen it, you have to see it. Definitely my favorite movie of the year so far, I would say. And yeah, that's all I got for this, Across the Spider-Verse. If you haven't seen it, just check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. If there's things that I've missed, let's discuss it. And I'm probably know about it, but just didn't come across my head because I was just so involved in trying to explain certain things. But yeah, Across the Spider-Verse, 2 thumbs up, 5 stars. Check it out. As always, thank you for watching, and until next time, later.